Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen wa salatu wa salam ala Imam al-Anbiya wal Mursaleen Sayyidina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Amma ba'd. Believing brothers and sisters in Islam, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome back to this, another of our sittings. Today's topic is death. We don't have proper notes on this topic, so I would appreciate if the admins do their best to produce proper notes, because we don't have proper notes about this topic. Allah Ta'ala and His Messenger Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam has given us many correct verses and hadith about death. We have to understand that death is from Allah. Only Allah Ta'ala can create death. Only Allah can bring about death. So the first subtitle is only Allah Ta'ala can cause death. Death is from Allah. Only Allah can cause death. So Allah Ta'ala said, He it is that has created death and life to test you, to see which one of you is best in conduct. Surah Mulk 1-2. Surah Mulk verses 1-2. So Allah Ta'ala said, Tabarakalladhi biyadihil mulk wa huwa ala kulli shay'in qadir alladhi khalaqal mawta wal hayata liyabna amalan wa huwa al-azizul ghafur. Blessed is he in whose hand is the mulk, the dominion, and he is able to do all things. He it is that has created death and life in order is best in character, best in conduct, best in deed, and He is the Almighty, the most forgiving. So what is the tafsir of the ayah? He created death and life to test you, to see which one of you is best in conduct. He created life, and life has ups and downs and trials and temptations. The trials of life, the temptations of life. If you are able to cope with the ups and downs of life properly, effectively, you have passed the test. So how is death a test for you? When you know that you're going to die, and you're going to be in the grave, and you will be questioned by Munkar and Nakir, because you fear the punishment of the grave, you behave properly and you behave with good conduct. So many of you remember the grave, and you remember that you will be inside the grave, and the sheer thought of the grave cause you to become good in conduct. This is why Allah said He has created death and life to test you, to see which one of you is best in character. When you reflect on the grave, there are 70 snakes in the grave. 70 snakes. When you reflect about the grave and you know that you're going to be in the grave, you will be alone in the grave, and there is punishment in the grave, you behave with good conduct. This is the tafsir of the ayah. Allah Ta'ala has created death, and He has created life to test you, to see which one of you is best in conduct. Please send out invites to everyone on your pass list. The other ayah to prove that death is only from Allah Ta'ala is Surah 40 verse 68. Surah 40 verse 68 is the other ayah to prove that death is from Allah. So it is Allah Ta'ala alone who decides when a person passed away. He it is that gives life and death. He causes death. He gives life and He causes death. And when He decides upon a thing, He says, kun fayakun. Therefore, you cannot delay your death. Neither can you bring it forward. That decision is solely with Allah Ta'ala. Allah Ta'ala told you that sleep is the twin sister of death. So sometimes a person sleep and they do not wake up, they die in their sleep. So for you to be able to wake up, that is a gift from Allah. Not everyone is fortunate to sleep and then wake up. Some people die in their sleep. So Surah 6 verse 60, Allah said what? Sleep is the twin sister of death. So Allah said, وَالَّذِي يَتَوَفَّاكُمْ بِاللَّيْلِ وَيَعْلَمْ مَا جَرَحْتُمْ بِالنَّهَارِ. He it is that has caused you to die when you go to bed at night, and He knows exactly what you're doing in the nahar, in the daytime. He it is who takes your soul by night when you are asleep and has knowledge of all that you have done in the daytime. The next chapter is we cannot escape death. There is no escape from death. That's the next chapter. So Allah used the word yaqeen to describe death. Allah used the word yaqeen. Why did Allah call death yaqeen? What is yaqeen? Yaqeen means something which is certain. You can't escape it. Allah Ta'ala used the word yaqeen to describe death. Surah 74, verses 42 to 48. It will be said to the kuffar, Ma salakakum fi sakar. What caused you to be in sakar? Sakar is a place in hell. If you enter it, you cannot get out. They will say, Lam naku min al-musallin. We never used to pray. We never established the 5-day prayers. Wa lam naku nut'im al-miskin. We never fed the miskin. We never fed the miskin. We didn't pay our zakah and we didn't establish the salah. And we used to talk falsehood with the vain talkers. We used to talk rubbish talk. We used to talk rubbish with the vain talkers. And we used to belie the day of recompense. We rejected faith in Judgment Day until there came to us yaqeen, death. So no intercession can be of any benefit to them on Judgment Day. No intercession can benefit them today on Judgment Day. Allah refers to death as yaqeen because we can't escape death. The other evidence to prove that we cannot escape death is Surah 3:185. Allah said, Kullu nafsin dha'iqatul maut. Every soul shall face death. When the angel Israfil blows into the trumpet, everyone will die, even the angel himself will die. When the angel Israfil blows into the trumpet, everyone will die, even the angel, even the angel himself will die. Only Allah will remain alive. Because only Allah cannot die. Even angels die. كل من عليها فان ويبقى وجه ربك ذو الجلال والإكرام فبأي آلاء ربكما تكذبان. Whatever is on the face of the earth will perish. Only Allah will remain alive. Because Allah cannot die, but everyone else will die. This is the evidence used by the ulama to prove that we will all die. Even the angel himself that blows into the trumpet will die. Even the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, even the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam died. Even the Prophet Muhammad died. Surah 39, verse 30. Allah said, you Muhammad shall die and all your sahabas are going to die with you. Innaka mayyit wa innahum mayyitun. You Muhammad shall die and all your sahabas will die. The Brahmins don't accept that Muhammad is dead. The Brahmins, they don't accept that Muhammad is dead. They said he's alive, he's ever living. They give the attribute al-Hayy to Muhammad. The ever living, I think your spelling is correct. Yeah, your spelling is correct. The ever living. They give that attribute al-Hayy to Muhammad. If the Brahmins hear you say Muhammad is dead, they say you are a traitor. You are a Wahhabi. You don't love the Prophet. You are Gustach Rasul. You are a traitor to the Rasul. You are a Wahhabi. You don't love the Prophet. What do you mean Muhammad is dead? But we brought you a Quranic verse. Verily you Muhammad shall die and all your sahabas will die. And they have the audacity to bring a Quranic verse claiming that they can use it to refute us. So the brothers, they use Surah 3:169. Some people are alive in the grave. And because they believe that they are alive in the grave, that's why they are grave worshippers. They use Surah 3:169 as evidence to prove that some people are alive in the grave and we can pray to them and beg them for things. I heard Hamza Yusuf preaching that on YouTube. Bring me the link of Hamza Yusuf in case people think I'm a slanderer and a liar. Think not وَلَا تَحْسَبَنَّ الَّذِينَ قُتِلُوا فِي سَبِيلِ اللَّهِ أَمْوَاتًا بَلْ أَحْيَاءٌ عِندَ رَبِّهِمْ يُرْزَقُونَ. Think not of those who are killed in the way of Allah that they are dead, nay, they are alive with their Lord and they have provision with their Lord. This is the ayah used by the Brahmins to say that Muhammad is alive in the grave. And there are many people who are alive in the grave and we can pray to the grave and beg them for things. Don't forget when the Prophet passed away, Abu Bakr went and kissed him and closed his eyes. What Abu Bakr said. Don't forget when the Prophet passed away, Abu Bakr came out of the house and said, people, those who worship Muhammad, Muhammad is dead. And those who worship Allah, Allah is alive and cannot die. Okay, when the Prophet passed away, Abu Bakr said, those who worship Muhammad, Muhammad is dead, and those who worship Allah, Allah is alive and cannot die. And then he read Surah 3:144. Then he read Surah 3:144. Then he read the following ayah. وَمَا مُحَمَّدْ إِلَّا رَسُولٌ قَدْ خَلَتْ مِنْ قَبْلِهِ الرُّسُلُ أَفَإِنْ مَاتَ أَوْ قُتِلَ انقلبتم على أعقابكم ومن ينقلب على عقبيه فلن يضر الله شيئا وسيجزي الله الشاكرين. Where is the hadith I quoted? Abu Bakr kissed the Prophet and came out of the house. You can kiss a dead man. Abu Bakr kissed the Prophet, came out of the house and said, people, those who worship Muhammad, Muhammad is dead. And those who worship Allah, Allah is alive and cannot die. Could you find the hadith, please? Now, this is the hadith used by the ulama to refuse who claim that Muhammad is still alive in the grave. The ijma' of the Sahabas is that the Prophet is dead. Because the Prophet is nafs, and Allah said, Kullu nafsin dha'iqatul maut, every soul will taste death. And Allah said in Surah 39, verse 3, you, Muhammad, shall die, and all your Sahabas will die with you. Okay, Abu Bakr kissed the Prophet after his death, yes, but I want the full hadith where after he kissed the Prophet, he came out of the house and said, people, those who worship Muhammad, Muhammad is dead. And those who worship Allah, Allah is alive and cannot die. So this is the hadith used by the ulama to say Muhammad is dead. Now, the Brahmins, they want to say that Muhammad is still alive in the grave. And he hasn't lost any of his faculties. There is no doubt that there is life in the grave. Narrated too many people posting the hujjah. Could one people post hujjah? I want the hadith in full where Abu Bakr said, those who worship Muhammad, Muhammad is dead. And those who worship Allah, Allah is alive and cannot die. Find the hadith. So, there is no doubt that there is a life in the grave. The life in the grave is called the barzakh. Allah will not combine two deaths on you. You have died the death which was written for you. O Allah's apostle, Abu Bakr came out and Umar was addressing the people, and Abu Bakr told him to sit down, but Umar refused. Abu Bakr again told him to sit down, but Umar again refused. And Abu Bakr recited tashahhud, none has the right to be worshipped but Allah, and the people attended to Abu Bakr and left. Abu Bakr said, Amma ba'd, and what comes next? Whoever amongst you worship Muhammad, then Muhammad is dead. And whoever amongst you worship Allah, Allah is alive and cannot die. Then he read the famous ayah, Surah 3, 144. وَمَا مُحَمَّدْ إِلَّا رَسُولٌ. Muhammad is just a Rasul, a messenger. قَدْ خَلَتْ مِنْ قَبْلِهِ الرُّسُلُ. Many messengers passed away before him. أَفَإِنْ مَاتَ أَوْ قُتِلَ. If he should die or slain on the battlefield, انقلبتم على أعقابكم, will you turn back on your heels as apostates? ومن ينقلب على عقبيه, whosoever turn back on his heels as an apostate, فلن يضر الله شيئا, he can't harm Allah the least. وسيجزي الله الشاكرين, and Allah Ta'ala will give reward to the shakirin. Where is the takhrij for the hadith you have brought to the board? Where is the takhrij? Bukhari, Muslim, Abu Dawud, Tirmidhi, Nasa'i, Ibn Majah, the Muwatta of Imam Malik, Musnad Ahmad. Where is the takhrij for the hadith you have brought to me? Okay, we continue our dance. Now, when Abu Bakr pronounced Muhammad dead, all the Sahabas kept quiet and accepted the hukum, the verdict. So this is called the ijma' of the Sahabas. So the ijma' of the Sahabas is that Muhammad is dead. So when you say Muhammad is still alive, he is not dead, he is al-Hayy, the ever-living, you have gone against the ijma' of the Sahabas, Secondly, you have fallen into shirk because you are giving the attributes of Allah to Muhammad. Only Allah is the ever-living. Now, their argument is that the Prophet is alive in the grave, and he hasn't lost any of his faculties. Did you find the takhrij for the hadith you brought me? The hadith of Abu Bakr, whosoever worship Muhammad, Muhammad is dead. Anyway, insert the takhrij later because I don't think you have it at the moment. Their claim that Muhammad is alive in the grave they have gone against the ijma of the Sahabas, and they have fallen into shirk by of Allah, which is Al-Hayy, the ever-living. Only Allah is Al-Hayy, the ever-living. Just in case you would like the Hujjah to prove that the Prophet Muhammad is not alive in his grave the way he was alive in the dunya. You have to bring a hadith in which on the day of judgment, where is authentic 6? Where's the notes? On the day of judgment, the people will come out of their graves thirsty, and they will rush to drink from the fountain. They will rush to drink from the fountain, and two angels will stop them from drinking from the fountain. And the Prophet Muhammad will cry out, "They are my Sahabas, my companions." He will look in their faces and he will recognize them as his Sahabas. But the two angels will say to the Prophet, "You don't know what they did after you left. They turned back on their heels as apostates from Islam." If the Prophet was alive in his grave and he did not lose any of his faculties, like the Verily claim, the Verily and the Sufis and the Shiites, that's their claim. Muhammad is alive in the grave and he did not lose any of his faculties. If the Prophet were alive in the grave and he has all his faculties, why on Judgment Day the two angels will say, "You don't know what they did after you left"? They turn back on their heels as apostates from Islam. This hadith is clear evidence, and this hadith is in Bukhari. It's clear evidence that the Prophet Muhammad is not alive in his grave the way he was alive in the dunya. So the plight of the Brelis, what's the plight of the Brelis? The plight of the Brelis is they don't make a difference between the life of the dunya and the life of the barzakh. They claim both are the same. This is why they have become grave worshippers. They don't make a difference between the life of the grave, which is called the barzakh, and the life of the dunya. They claim they are the same, and because of that they pray to the inhabitants of the graves. They turn apostates from Islam. Look at the hadith. That hadith is called checkmate. And don't forget the hujjah. That hadith is called checkmate against the Brelis, who claim he hasn't lost any of his faculties. And if you lose a debate with a Breli or a Saudi Salafi, you're not my student. I'm sorry, you're not my student. You're not allowed to lose a debate. That's haram. You can't lose a debate in regards to Aqidah. Haram. If you lose a debate with a fool, a deviant, a munafiq, you're not my student. To lose a debate, that's not acceptable. And you should always remember the hujjah. Don't forget the hujjah. That's when you will lose a debate. only die when Allah wants us to die. We will only die by the will of Allah. Surah 3, 145. وَمَا كَانَ لِنَفْسٍ. Listen to what Allah said. وَمَا كَانَ لِنَفْسٍ أَن تَمُوتَ إِلَّا بِإِذْنِ اللَّهِ كِتَابًا مُؤَجَّلًا. And no soul can die until Allah wants that soul to die. By Allah's leave, by Allah's permission. It is an appointed term written with Allah. وَمَا كَانَ لِنَفْسٍ أَن تَمُوتَ إِلَّا بِإِذْنِ اللَّهِ كِتَابًا مُؤَجَّلًا. No soul can pass away until Allah decides for that soul to pass away. This is qadr Allah, Allah's qadr. The Brahmins, they use the tashahhud as evidence to worship the Prophet. At-tayyatu lillahi wa salawatu wa tayyibat. They say, can't you see, we say at-tayyatu lillahi wa salawatu wa tayyibat. Assalamu alayka ayyuhan nabi. We say peace be upon you, O Prophet. They use the tashahhud to justify worshiping the grave. A'udhu billah. A'udhu billah. Didn't you know that? They use the tashahhud as evidence to worship the graves because we say Assalamu alayka, Prophet. Ayyuhan Nabi. They are so jahil. The tashahhud you are reciting is obsolete. It's old and it is obsolete. You know when some computers are obsolete and some mobile phones are obsolete, people don't use them anymore. The tashahhud you are reciting is obsolete, it's outdated. Because Abdallah ibn Mas'ud said, when the Prophet was alive, he taught me the tashahhud and his hand was in my hand. And when he was alive, we said, Assalamu alayka ayyuhan nabi. Peace be upon you, O Prophet. Assalam ala nabi, not alayka. The ka is obsolete. Look at the new tashahhud. Assalam ala nabi, not assalamu alayka. Okay, bring the hadith of Ibn Mas'ud where he said when the Prophet passed away, when he died, he said Assalam ala nabi. He taught me the tashahhud while my hands was in the hands of the Prophet. When he was alive, we said Assalamu alayka ayyuhan nabi. But when the Prophet died, we switched and we said Assalamu ala nabi. Okay, finish the hadith with the takhrij. Could you please post the rest of the hadith with the takhrij? So there is no doubt that there is a life in the grave, but the life in the grave is limited. It's not like the life of the dunya. The life in the grave is called the barzakh, and the life of this world is called the dunya. The plight of the believers is they think both lives are exactly the same. So because of that, they pray to the inhabitants of the graves and they become pagans and kafirs outside the fold. But when he died, we say peace be upon the Prophet. This hadith, the Brahmins don't know about it because they are jahil about Tawheed. That's why they continue to say Assalamu alayka. You have to say Assalamu ala Nabi. If you say Assalamu alayka, the grave worshippers, because they're the ones who insist on saying Assalamu alayka. So you are reciting, you are praying like a grave worshipper when you say Assalamu alayka. The next question, can the dead hear? Okay, author 6, the next question. Can the dead hear? There is no doubt that the dead can hear, because the Prophet said, when you lower that body in the grave and you cover him with the dirt, he can hear the footsteps of all that the dead can hear. If the dead could not hear, why the angels will ask the dead, who is your Lord, who is your Prophet, what's your religion? And he will respond, my Lord is Allah, my Prophet is Muhammad, my religion is Islam. Dead people can hear. However, could you find the hadith? The dead man can hear the footsteps of those who came to his janazah. However, when you pray to the dead and you are worshipping the dead, Allah said, when you pray to the dead, you are worshipping the dead. Did you know that? When you pray to the dead, and you are worshipping them, Allah said that. I didn't ask for. Okay, I think so. Yes, I think that's the hadith I asked for. It's a long hadith. I recognize the hadith. Yes. Okay, long hadith. Continue to post it. I just remember it's a long hadith. I recognize it from the first sentence. Even though the dead man can hear, when you pray to him, Allah blocks him from hearing your kufr, your shirk, and your zandaqa. He doesn't hear your dua. Allah blocks him from hearing that. So for you to say dead man cannot hear, that's wrong, because we have evidence to prove otherwise. Could somebody help 83 to post the hujjah, because his computer is freezing up? I can't wait an hour for each hadith to be posted, because I have a lot of things to say. Can somebody else take over the posting of the hadith, because his computer is freezing up and I have a lot of hadiths to quote. And Mike can hear me. So when you pray to the inhabitants of the graves, Allah blocks them from hearing your dua. Could have posed the hadith where it says he's able to hear the footsteps of those who attended his janazah, because you are posting piece of the hadith and you cut out the piece that I want. The dead man is able to hear the footsteps of those who attended his janazah. That's the part of the hadith I want. You didn't post that. You post what I didn't ask for. Even though the dead can hear, Allah blocks them from hearing your kufr, your shirk, your zandaka. This means when you pray to them, they don't hear that. What's the evidence? The evidence is the Quran itself. Surah 35, verse 14. Surah 35, verse 14. When an individual is placed in his grave and his companions return and he even hears their footsteps, okay, could you post the takhrij and that is it? Look at your place. That's the hadith I wanted. Why did it take you so long to find it? I don't know. Because it's on the blog. So that's the hadith I wanted. He's able to hear the footsteps of those who attended his janazah. This is the evidence used by the ulama to say the dead can hear. But even though the dead can hear, when you pray to them, because you are doing kufr, shirk, zandaka, Allah blocks them from hearing your dua to them. Okay, 2036, you're going to say, the above mentioned ayah is clear evidence that Allah blocks them from hearing your shirk of praying to them. The above mentioned ayah is clear evidence that Allah blocks the dead from hearing your shirk, your kufr, your zandaka, when you pray to them. Then you're going to write again in the above mentioned ayah, Allah says in the above mentioned ayah, when you pray to the graves, you are worshipping the graves. In the above mentioned ayah, Allah says, when you pray to the graves, you are worshipping the graves. Therefore, we can safely conclude that every Barelvi is a great worshipper and a kafir outside the fold of Islam. Even though we would like to escape death, we can't escape death. And Allah warns you in the Quran, you would like to escape death, but you can't. A man might say, I'm going to keep a dog in my house because the angel of death won't come to take my soul. Okay, look at the ayah. Therefore, we can safely conclude Okay, look at the ayah. Wherever you may be, death will overtake you, even if you are hiding away in fortified columns, in fortresses, built up strong and high. Do you see the ayah? Surah Nisa, verse 78. أينما تكونوا يدرككم الموت ولو كنتم في بروج مشيدة. Wherever you may be, though you are hiding away in fortresses and high, the angel of death will find you. You can't escape the tentacles of the angel of death. So Allah Ta'ala said, I will send the angel of death to catch you. Surah 6, verse 61. The angel of death will take your soul. Surah 6, verse 61. Or Surah 32. You can't escape the tentacles of the angel of death, like Allah told you in the above mentioned ayah. Some people, the angel of death will take their soul in a peaceful manner, like the water coming out of the water skin. Some people, the angel of death will snatch their soul viciously. Have you ever seen the cat playing with the cushion and the shrouds? The thread keeps protruding. This is how some people, the angel of death, will snatch their soul in a violent manner. These angels never neglect their duty. The angel of death who is set over you will take your souls. Then you shall be brought to your Lord. The angel of death will take the soul of some people peacefully, like water coming out of a jug, while others, the angel of death will pull their souls out. But Allah swears by these angels, in the Quran, وَالنَّازِيَاتِ غَرْقًا وَالنَّاشِطَاتِ نَشْطًا. وَالنَّازِيَاتِ غَرْقًا وَالنَّاشِطَاتِ نَشْطًا. Surah something. Allah said, I swear by those angels who pull out the souls of the kuffar with great violence. And then also, I swear by those angels who take out the soul of the believers with peace and tranquility, gently. وَالنَّازِيَاتِ غَرْقًا وَالنَّاشِطَاتِ نَشْطًا. The Prophet said in a hadith, when a believer is dying, angels with white faces will descend and they will take out his soul peacefully. Angels with white faces. And they'll hand over the soul with a piece, to be wrapped up with a piece of cloth. Coming from the cloth, the sweetest of smell, the smell of musk. But when a kafir is going to die, angels with black faces descend and they'll pull out the soul viciously and hand it over to the angels who will wrap it up with a piece of cloth. Coming from the cloth, the stinkest of smell. Okay, find the hadith about angels with white faces and angels with black faces. Find that hadith. It was narrated by Abu Hurairah that the Prophet said, when the believers die, the angels of mercy come to him with white silk. Okay, yes, that's the hadith. Okay, continue until I see the takhrij. The angels say, come out to the pleasure of your Lord and the mercy of your Lord. Fragrance, sweet fragrance, and a Lord who is not angry. Your Lord is not angry. So it comes out like the best fragrance of musk. They pass him from one to another until they bring him to the gate of heaven. Yes, this is a hadith. I think it's a long hadith. And when the kafir is dying, angels with black faces will come down and pull out his soul viciously. This is the tafsir of the ayahs وَالنَّازِيَاتِ غَرْقًا وَالنَّاشِطَاتِ نَشْطًا. I swear by the angels who take out the soul of the kuffar, pull out their soul viciously and violently. And I swear by the angels who peacefully and gently take out the soul of the believers. The hadith which is posted is the tafsir of the Surah 79 verses 1 to 2. The angels will speak to some people as they snatch their souls. Did you know that? Is the hadith finished? The angels will speak to some people as they snatch their souls. That's the next chapter, Ark in the 36. The next chapter, the angels shall speak to some people as they snatch their souls. Okay, I think the hadith is finished because I can now see the takhrij. Okay, the next chapter, the angels shall speak to some people as they snatch their souls. Okay, bring me to Hujjah, Surah 8, verse 50. So the angels will bring bad news to some people and good news to some people. And if you could see when the angels take the souls of those who disbelieve at death, they smite their faces and their backs, saying, taste the punishment of the blazing fire. Alhamdulillah. That's the angels speaking, smiting their faces and say, taste the punishment of the blazing fire. Another evidence, Surah 4, verse 97. إن الذين توفوا الملائكة ظالمي أنفسهم قالوا فيما قلتم قالوا كنا مستضعفين في الأرض قال ألم تكن أرض الله واسعة فتهاجروا فيها. Those when the angels snatched their souls at death and make hijrah, they stayed behind in Darul Harb, the land of the enemy. Verily, as for those whom the angels take their souls in death, while they are wronging themselves as they stayed among the disbelievers, even though immigration, the hijrah was compulsory on them. Fard. They, the angels, say to them, in what condition were you? Why is your state so pitiful, appalling, and pathetic? They will reply, we were mustad'afin, we were weak and oppressed in the land. Mustad'afin. The angels will say, was not the earth of Allah spacious enough for you to migrate? Such men will find their abode in hell. What an evil destination. Nisa 97. So this is another evidence that the angels will speak to some people as they snatch their souls. From the ayah surah 6 verse 93. So this man who stayed in Darul Harb, places like the UK and the USA, France is the worst country in the world. I wouldn't even take my dog there. In Darul Harb, even though the kuffar forced them to apostate. In France, they force you to apostate. You can't be a real Muslim in France. They force you to apostate. The angels will say, why is your situation so pathetic? They will say, we were weak and oppressed in the land. Allah will say, wasn't Allah's earth spacious enough to make hijrah? They can't make hijrah because they live off welfare, food stamps, income support, the dole. They rather apostate and live off the dole. They can't make hijrah because they live off the dole, income support. Some people get $1,000 a month from food stamps, and they're getting fat, morbidly obese. And who can be more unjust than he who invents a lie against Allah? That's while the angels are stretching forth their hands, saying, deliver your souls this day, you shall be recompensed with the torment of degradation. This is another evidence, the angels speaking to people as they snatch their souls. Then the scholar said the angels will give glad tidings to the believers. Surah Fussilat verse 30. The angels will give glad tidings to the believers as they take their soul gently. Surah Fussilat verse 30. إن الذين قالوا ربنا الله ثم استقاموا تتنزل عليهم الملائكة ألا تخافوا ولا تحزنوا. Verily those who say our Lord is Allah alone and then they stand firm on their deen, they do not waver about their deen, they stand firm. Istaqamu. And then the angels will descend at the time of their death, saying, fear not nor grieve, but receive the glad tidings of paradise which you have been promised. وَأَبْشِرُوا بِالْجَنَّةِ الَّتِي كُنْتُمْ تُوعَدُونَ. Surah Fussilat verse 30. This is the evidence that the angels will give glad tidings to the believers as they take their souls. And they will take their souls in a gentle manner. I'm discussing death. The room should have had 250 people because you will all die. Some people might be in another room listening to zina music. A'udhu billah. I'm talking about death. People should have been here, 250 people at least. Okay, authentic 36, you're going to write in the notes some hadiths about death. Some hadiths of the Prophet about death. Before quoting the hadith, death is painful. Before start quoting you the hadith, let me remind you, death is painful. If the person who dies was young and handsome and beautiful, death is painful. If the person who passed away was young, beautiful, handsome, intelligent, and rich, that's when the death is painful. Intelligent and rich. If a madman should die, nobody would cry. You know why? Happy riddance. He was a burden on society. If a madman should die, everybody will be happy. If a person is old and poor and ugly should die, nobody will cry. It's a happy riddance. If a person is old and poor and ugly should die, nobody will cry. It's happy riddance again. If a person who is rich should die and handsome, many people would cry. So death is more painful when the person is loved. Death is less painful when the person was a burden on society. That is the reality of life. When I was in Swaziland, I just finished touring 12 African countries. When I was in Swaziland, a poor man died. About four people went to his janaza. He used to come to the masjid to beg. A poor man who used to beg at the masjid, about 4 people came to his janaza. Everybody said happy riddance. A week later, a rich man died. I went to that janaza. I saw at least 2,000 people at the janaza, and many people were crying. Even the imam was crying. He was a rich man, and he donated a lot of money to the masjid. He pays the bills for the masjid, the water bill, the electricity bill. The man was filthy rich. He pays water bill, electricity bill. He pays the salary of the imam. When he died, 2,000 people went to his janaza. But when a poor man died, only 4 people went to his janaza. Everybody said happy riddance. So when you are rich and generous, and you die, people cry. When Zainab bin Jash died, the whole of Medina was stricken with grief because she was the wife of the Prophet who used to work and give her money to poor people. Zainab bin Jash. We studied the life of the Prophet's wives, didn't we? When Zainab bin Jash died, the whole of Medina was in mourning. She was the wife who used to work. She was a dressmaker, and she could do many other things. And the Prophet allowed her to work and give a lot of her money to poor people. When they asked the Prophet, which one of your wives will die first? What did he say? The wife with the longest hands will die first. What is that? The wife with the longest hands will die first. Longest hands means the kindest wife, and that was Zainab bin Jash. When a murderer dies, when a murderer and a rapist die, no one cries, everybody say happy riddance. A murderer and a rapist, when they die, everybody say happy riddance. When a wicked scholar dies who preaches for for people to worship the graves. A wicked scholar who preaches, you can join the democratic process. Democracy is Islamic. You can pray to the graves. When a wicked scholar dies, it's a mercy for the Ummah of Muhammad, because he was taking people with him to the hellfire. When a sincere scholar dies, it's a great loss for the Ummah of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. When a sincere scholar dies, it's a great loss for the Ummah of Muhammad, because he was guiding the people to the shroud al-mustaqim. Okay, let us start quoting the hadith. If a person died before puberty, they will intercede for their parents on Judgment Day. Those who die before puberty will intercede for their parents on Judgment Day. So if your wife should have a child and the child die, it's an investment, because the child will beg Allah to give his parents the paradise. So that child that Allah gave to you and took it back, that child is an investment to intercede for you on the Day of Judgment. If a child dies before puberty, that child is an investment. Assalamualaikum warahmatullah. Somebody gave. Okay, I'm back on mic. The first hadith I have in front of me is, none of you should wish for death because of a sickness that befall you. When you have a sickness, what you say, oh Allah, give me life if it is better for me, or give me death if it is better for me. None of you should wish for death because of a calamity that befalls you. But what you should say, oh Allah, give me life if it is better for me, and give me death if it is better for me. So we come to the question of suicide bombing. Technology has become so advanced. None of you should wish for death because of a calamity befalling him. But if he has to wish for death, he should say, oh Allah, keep me alive as long as life is better for me, and let me die if death is better for me. Okay, shukran. So, of suicide bombing. We had a heavy downpour, so let's hope it's not messing up my net. The issue of suicide bombing, that's the question we're discussing. There is no need for a person to become a suicide bomber because technology has become advanced. You can use your mobile phone to detonate a bomb. So if you can use your mobile phone to detonate a bomb, why do you need to become a suicide bomber? That doesn't make sense. Yusuf Qaradawi passed a fatwa allowing suicide bombing. Yusuf Qaradawi, suicide bombing is for the old days when there was no mobile phone. Suicide bombing is for the old days when there was no mobile phone. But now technology has become advanced. There's no need for you to become a suicide bomber. Yusuf Qaradawi passed a fatwa allowing suicide bombing. Yusuf Qaradawi. And even al-Bani, I saw a fatwa of al-Bani allowing it. I don't know if they still have it on YouTube or they took it down. My answer to the question, even Albani allowed it. I don't know if they have the video of Albani still. I heard Albani with my 2 ears allowing it and say that it is a martyrdom operation. Albani said people commit suicide when they have given up on life. The Mujahid who detonated the bomb on himself, he didn't give up on life. He was taking the enemy out. And that's Albani's reason. He didn't give up on life, he was taking the enemy out. My answer to these, Allahu Alam. I'm not going to take a stance. Bin Baz allow it also. Even Bin Baz allow it. Can you find the fatwa of Bin Baz allowing it? Or Albani allowing it? My answer to this is Allahu Alam. I'm not going to refute these scholars. I say Allahu Alam. That's my stance. Allahu Alam. I'm not going to refute these scholars. And the reason why we bring up the issue of suicide bombing is because the Prophet said, don't wish for death. Okay, find the other hadith. Did you find Bin Baz allowing suicide bombing or Albani? Okay, let's continue the dars. The hadith says, when you die, 3 things go with you to the grave. Whenever you die, 3 things go with you to the grave. Your family, your wealth, and your deeds. 2 return. Your family and wealth return, but your deed stays with you in their grave to benefit you in the grave. Bin Baz allows suicide bombing. Are you sure Bin Baz allowed? Somebody sent me a PM to say Bin Baz allowed. Because Bin Baz is quoted by the Saudi Salafists as not allowing suicide bombing. Not until you can bring a link. The people in the room will not believe you. Because the Saudi Salafists, okay, you have brought a link, Bin Baz allowing suicide bombing. Okay. Well, that makes sense. Because without a link, there'll be an element of doubt. Albani allows suicide bombing. Because he said, a person commits suicide when they give up on life because of mental depression. But the Mujahid did not give up on life. He became a suicide bomber to take the enemy out. And the reason why we brought up the issue of suicide bombing is because the Prophet said nobody is allowed to wish for death. Okay, we continue the dars. On many occasions, the Prophet said, remember the severer of pleasures, that which cuts off your pleasures. Remember Hadim al-Malazat, that which cuts off your pleasures. What cuts off your pleasures? Death. Okay, find the hadith. Remember the severer of all pleasures, your delight. What is the thing that cuts off your pleasure? Your delight? Death. In another hadith, when you die, three things follow you to the grave. Find the hadith, when you die, three things follow you to the grave. To return, your family and your wealth and your deeds stay with you inside the grave to benefit you in the grave. Another hadith, the body of a dead man passed by and the people spoke very good about him, and the Prophet said, wajabat, wajabat, it is confirmed, it is confirmed. So shall it be, so shall it be. Then the body of another man passed by and the people spoke bad about him, that he was an evil man. And the Rasul said, wajabat, wajabat, so shall it be, so shall it be. It is confirmed, it is confirmed. Okay, Jazakallah khairan. Now, where is the hadith where the Prophet said, keep remembering the severer of all pleasures. Keep remembering that, which is the death. Then find the hadith where the body of a dead man passed by and the people spoke good about him, and the Prophet said, it is confirmed. And when the body of another man passed by and they spoke bad about him, the Prophet said, it is confirmed. You are the witnesses of Allah on earth. Okay, it was narrated by Abu Hurairah. The Prophet said, frequently remember the destroyer of pleasures. You should constantly remember that which destroys all pleasures. And what is it? Death. Death is called the destroyer of all pleasures. Okay, find the hadith. The body of a dead man passed by and the people spoke good about him, and the Prophet said, it is confirmed, meaning he'll go to paradise. The body of another man passed by, they spoke bad about him, the Prophet said, it is confirmed, meaning he shall be in the hellfire. You're taking too long to find the hadith. I have a lot of hadith from okay, you found the fatwa of Albani allowing the martyrdom operation. You see, the Salafis, they don't know these fatwas. They claim to follow Bin Baz and Albani and Uthaymeen. They don't follow these scholars. They follow their evil and corrupted desires. They're liars. It's like the Jews. The Christians say we follow Jesus. The Christians don't follow Jesus. They're not even circumcised. Okay, you found the hadith I have quoted. Where is the takhrij? Where is the takhrij for the hadith that I am quoting? Okay, I continue the dars. What has been affirmed, he replied, you praise this, so paradise has been affirmed to him, and you spoke badly of this one, so hellfire is affirmed to him. You people are the witnesses of Allah on earth. Okay, this is the exact hadith I was after. Okay, jazakallah khairan. So whenever a person dies, if the Muslim community speak good of him, his place in paradise is affirmed. When a man dies, if the people speak badly about him, that he was an evil man, his place in hellfire is affirmed, because you are the witnesses of Allah on earth. I'm not finished quoting the hadith about death. When the Prophet son Ibrahim died, the people said, look, the sun eclipsed. The sun eclipsed. The sun eclipsed because Ibrahim died. The Rasul said, the sun is one of the natural phenomena of Allah. The sun and the moon, they do not eclipse because of the death of any man or the birth of any man. Find the hadith of Ibrahim. The next hadith is that whenever you die, you will be resurrected in the same clothing that you die in. So Abu Sa'id al-Khudri, when he thought that he was going to die, he put on clean clothing. He put on clean clothing, Abu Sa'id al-Khudri. And when they asked him why, he said, because if I die in these clean clothing, I will be resurrected in these clean clothing, because you are resurrected in the clothing you die in. Abu Sa'id al-Khudri, this hadith can be found in Abu Dawud. Another hadith, when you die, all your good deeds come to a halt except three. Sadaqah Jariyah, continuous charity. Ilm yuntafa' bi, Islamic knowledge you leave behind to benefit the ummah. Walad salih yad'u lahu, a pious child who pray for you when you are inside the grave. So all of you, you need to get married and have kids so that you can have pious kids to pray for you when you are inside the grave. All of you need to get married and have kids in order to have pious children to pray for you when you are inside the grave. Okay, find the hadith. When a man dies, all his good deeds come to a halt except three. Sadaqah Jariyah, a charity. Knowledge he leaves behind to benefit the Muslims, or a pious child to pray for him when he's inside the grave. You need to marry a woman who can give birth to kids so that you can have kids to pray for you when you're inside the grave. If a woman can't have kids, you can have her as a second wife or a third wife, but not as a first wife. It's makruh to have her as a first wife. Okay, the next hadith I want you to find concerning death. The Prophet said, "Oh Aisha, death comes with its own agony." When the Rasul was dying, he was on his bed and he dips his hand in water and keep rubbing his face. And when he was asked why he's doing that, he said, "Oh Aisha, death comes with its own agony." I think it's Ad-Darmi. The Prophet told Aisha, "Oh Aisha, death comes with its own agony," the agony of death. The other hadith I would like you to find, the Prophet said, "I used to prevent you from visiting the graves. You may now visit the graves because the graves remind you of the hereafter." If you go to a graveyard, you're going to see somebody in the grave with the same date of birth as you, and the person is dead. If you look carefully, you'll see a person who born, if you were born 1980, somebody in the grave was born 1980. If you're born 1990, somebody in the grave was born 1990. If you were born the year 2000, somebody in the grave was born the year 2000. Even if you are only 7 years old, you are going to see a 7-year-old in the grave. All of you, your age is in the grave. Somebody with your age is in the grave. The prophet said, I used to prevent you from visiting the graves. You can now visit the graves because they remind you of the hereafter. When Abu Sufyan died, Habiba rubbed perfume on her body. Okay, you have found the hadith and wiped his face and he said, oh Allah, help me to bear the agonies of death. Okay, this is the hadith I was expecting. Jazakallah khair. Death comes with its own agony. That's why the Prophet dipped his hand in the water. Allah, help me to bear the agony of death. Death comes with its own agony. When Abu Sufyan died, Habiba rubbed perfume on her body because that's her father who passed away. And she said, I am not allowed, a woman is not allowed to mourn for the death except 3 days. Unless it's her husband, then she's allowed to mourn for a month and 10 days. When Abu Sufyan died, her Habiba, the wife of the Prophet, rubbed perfume on her body and said, I heard the Prophet saying, a woman is not allowed to mourn more than 3 days for a dead person. But as for her husband, she's allowed to mourn 4 months and 10 days. Many Muslim sisters can't accept this. They can't understand. My son is my flesh and blood, and I cannot mourn more than 3 days for my son. And I'm supposed to mourn 4 months and 10 days for my husband. Many Muslim sisters, they say that to me. Are you for real? My son is my flesh and blood. Why can't I mourn? Well, I never make up Islam. I never make up Islam. We were forbidden to mourn for more than 3 days, except for a husband. The husband, you can mourn for 4 months and 10 days. I'm telling you, many Muslim sisters, they can't accept the hadith. They find it difficult. My son is my flesh and blood, and I'm only allowed to mourn 3 days for my son. That my husband, I should mourn 4 months and 10 days, even though he used to beat me. He used to beat me and treat me badly. I have to mourn 4 months and 10 days. But my son, only 3 days. So many Muslim sisters, they can't accept the hadith. They find it difficult to accept. Their aql don't accept. Their aql doesn't accept the hadith. It is not permissible for a woman to believe on the last day to mourn for anyone who dies for more than 3 days, except for a husband. She should mourn for him 4 months and 10 days. Okay, this is the exact hadith I was expecting. Jazakallah khairan for finding the hadith. I'm saying to you, many Muslim sisters, they can't accept the hadith. Their aql don't accept the hadith. My son is my flesh and blood. She said, that piece of rubbish used to beat me in the house, and I should mourn 4 months and 10 days. He didn't even treat me properly. My beloved son, who I love so much, I should only mourn 3 days, but my husband 4 months and 10 days. I'm sorry, I can't accept the hadith. Sisters said that to me in private PM. Sisters say that to me in private PM. My aql don't accept the hadith. I think I have quoted the hadith that you need to know about the dead. The next chapter is how to tell when a person dies a good death. That's the next chapter. Number one, he was able to recite the Shahada. That's the first sign. I have in front of me 17 signs. Number one, he was able to recite the Shahada. Anybody whose last words were La ilaha illallah will go to Jannah. Find that hadith. Could you quickly find the hadith, because I have 17 signs to tell you. And a man whose woman, their last words were La, will go to paradise. I think it's a hadith of Abu Hurairah. I'm sorry, Mu'adh bin Jabal. I think it was Mu'adh bin Jabal. Where is the hadith? We covered this yesterday. Where is the hadith? Anybody whose last words were La ilaha illallah will go to paradise. The second sign is he died on the battlefield. The second sign, he died on the battlefield. So find the hadith, the mujahid who died on the battlefield, he had 6 special favors with his Lord. Find that hadith. I don't take an hour to find the hadith. I need to finish my notes. He died on the battlefield. Find the hadith, the mujahid who died on the battlefield has 6 special favors with his Lord. Could you please quickly put the hadith, because I need to finish my notes. That hadith is found in Ahmad and Tirmidhi. Number 3, he died on a sacred journey. Number 3, he died on a sacred journey. Okay, find the hadith. A man was on his way to make Tawbah after killing 100 people, and he died on the journey going to make Tawbah. And Allah told the angel of mercy, you can claim the body. Number 4, he died from an epidemic. Okay, wait until the takhrij for this hadith is posted before you post number 4. Where is the takhrij? I want the volume on the page. Okay, yes. Now you can post number 4. Number 4, he died. Okay, find the hadith about those who died. Number 5, he died due to stomach illness. You can post number 5 because one hadith covers all of that. He died due to a stomach illness. Okay, number 6, a woman died from childbirth. Number 7, a person died due to drowning. A person died drowning. Number 8, a person died in fire. Number 9, a person died because a building fell on top of him. A building fell on top of him. Okay, can you bring me a hadith to cover these points? 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Could you find a hadith to cover these points? A person died because of an epidemic. A person died because of stomach illness. A woman died in childbirth. A person died due to drowning. A person died in fire. Okay, bring up any hadith you can find to cover these points which I have just listed. There are 7 kinds of shaheed. The person died because of epidemic. A woman died in childbirth. I want you to just post the hadith once instead of splitting up the hadith. Just post it once and mention all the shaheed. You don't have to split it up. Just post the hadith, the 7 type of shaheed, and post it once with the 7 shaheed, because there's no need to split up the hadith like it's happening now. Yeah, there's no need to split up the hadith. Just post it once and it covers all the points I listed. Okay, I'm not finished talking about the people who die as a good death. Yes, I prefer the way you post it once. I don't like it splitting up like that. Okay, we continue the dars. The 10th person who died a good death. Number 10, a person died defending his property. Number 10, a person died defending his property. Okay, find the hadith where the Prophet told a man, if somebody stick you up with a knife to fight you for your property, don't give it to him. If you kill him, he goes to the hellfire. If he kills you, you go into the paradise. Okay, you found the hadith. Number 11, a person who died defending himself. Number 11, a person who died defending himself. Any hadith to back that up? And died defending his family. When I quote the hadith, you die defending your family, you die defending yourself. Don't split the hadith up. A person died defending his family. Number 13, a person died defending his religion. Number 13, a person died defending his religion. Could you post the hadith after number 13? Number 14, a person died on a Friday. Find the hujjah for Friday. Number 15, a person died in Medina. That doesn't give you the right to go committing suicide on a Friday because you want to go to Jannah. The kuffar said they kill Anwar Olaki on a Friday. Number 15, a person died in Medina. Number 16, a person died with sweat on his forehead. Number 16, a person died with sweat on his forehead. Find the hadith about the man who died with his sweat on his forehead. Number 17, a person died during an act of piety. A person died while he was doing an act of piety. Okay, find the hujjah. The man went on Hajj with the Prophet and he fell off his mount and died. And the Prophet said he will be resurrected as a pilgrim, making pilgrimage. These are the 17 signs to tell you a person died a good death. Okay, the next chapter is how to perform Salat al-Janazah according to Sunnah. The next chapter, the last chapter before we close, how to perform Salat al-Janazah. Before telling you how to perform Salat al-Janazah, let me remind you the Maliki said what the Prophet did that was exclusive to the Prophet. The Malikis are afraid people might become grave worshippers. I asked my sheikhs why the Malikis don't allow it. My sheikh said the Malikis are afraid people will become grave worshippers. Salat al-Janazah is fard kifaya. Salat al-Janazah is fard kifaya. To wash the dead and pray over the dead is fard kifaya, not fard al-ain. However, Salatul Eid is fard al-ain. Eid is fard al-ain, but Janazah is fard kifaya. Everybody has to go to Eid when Eid comes. Eid is fard al-ain. To go and pray Eid is fard al-ain. Even women have to go for Eid. Even women have to go to Eid. The Prophet used to command menstruating women to come out to Eid. what is the correct method to pray al-Janazah? The question, what is the correct method? I want it in bold writing. This is the last chapter before I close the dars. What is the correct method to pray Salat al-Janazah? Somebody asked Bin Baz this question. Okay, can you post the fatwa of Bin Baz when he was asked this question? How do we pray Salat al-Janazah? Okay, authentic 33 or 19 could have posted the fatwa of Bin Baz because somebody put this question to him and he explained to the person how to perform Salat al-Janazah. Okay, since they are searching for the fatwa of Bin Baz, authentic 36, you say that you recite A'udhu Billahi Minash Shaitanir Rajim and then Surah Fatiha. You stand at the waist of the woman or the head of the man. If it's a woman, you stand at the waist. If it's a woman, you stand at the waist and face the Qibla. If it's a man, you stand at his head. Okay, authentic 36, please write what I'm saying. If it's a man, you stand by the head. If it's a woman, you stand by the waist. And you face the Qibla to perform Salat al-Janazah. If it's a woman, you stand by her waist. Then you give the takbir. You give the takbir, you say Allahu Akbar, and then you recite A'udhu Billahi Minash Shaitanir Rajim. You recite A'udhu Billahi Minash Shaitanir Rajim, then you recite Surah Fatiha. After reciting Surah Fatiha, you make a second takbir. In the second takbir, you keep your hand on the chest. You don't bother to raise your hand. You keep it on the chest. And you make a second takbir. Then you recite Darud Sharif, Allahumma salli ala Sayyidina Muhammad wa ala ali Muhammad kama sallaita ala Ibrahim wa ala ali Ibrahim innaka Hamidum Majid. Allahumma barik ala Muhammad wa ala ali Muhammad kama barakta ala Ibrahim wa ala ali Ibrahim innaka Hamidum Majid. You recite this in the second takbir. Do you think people understand what is Darud Sharif? Allahumma salli ala Sayyidina Muhammad wa ala ali Muhammad kama sallaita ala Ibrahim wa ala ali Ibrahim innaka Hamidum Majid. Allahumma barik ala Muhammad wa ala ali Muhammad kama barakta ala Ibrahim wa ala ali Ibrahim innaka Hamidum Majid. Salatul Janazah is recited with a quiet voice, not aloud. It's not a loud salah. Janazah is not a loud salah. To recite it aloud is bid'ah. After the third takbir, you make the dua. After the third takbir, you make the dua for the dead. اللهم اغفر لحينا وميتنا وشاهدنا وغائبنا وصغيرنا وكبيرنا وذكرنا وأنثانا اللهم من أحييته منا فأحيه على الإسلام ومن توفيته منا فتوفه على الإيمان. This is the dua for the dead. And then you make the fourth takbir. After reciting the dua for the dead, you make the fourth takbir. And you give one salam then you recite the fourth takbir, then you give one salam to the right and no salam to the left. Salatul Janazah has variations. Put that in the notes. Salatul Janazah has variations. So some Imams will raise their hands with all four takbirs, and it is permissible. Some Imams will raise their hands for all four takbirs, and that is permissible. Some Imams will give two salams, one to the right, one to the left, and that is also permissible. Some Imams will give two salams, one to the right, one to the left, and that is also permissible. The Hanafis exclude Surah Fatiha from their Salatul Janazah, and we the Hanbalis said we beg to differ because there is no Salah without Surah Fatiha. The Hanafis exclude Surah Fatiha from their Salatul Janazah. We the Hanbalis say we beg to differ. There is no Salah without Surah Fatiha. We the Hanbalis beg to differ because there is no Salah or Surah Fatiha. Okay, we stop here. This is our topic, death. Please put it on the blog because I don't have any good notes on death on the blog. Not in such details. I've seen one, but it is short, very short. I'm not taking. Okay, I'll take 3 questions, inshallah. I'll take 3 questions in regards to what you have just heard. I'm surprised there was a good voice because we're a heavy downpour. BBC came and spent a week with me and said Jamaican internet is better than the UK internet. Do you believe the BBC? Question and answer session. With you, can you hear me? I don't see any questions coming forward about the topic death. So I'm going to close. I'm going to relinquish the mic. Unless the admins can indicate otherwise. Okay, you have seen the fatwa of Bin Baz, how to perform janaza over dead people. There are questions? Okay. And maybe Allah will help Islam with a fajr, an evil person. Find that hadith. The hadith should be in Bukhari. You can't intercede for your family members who reject faith in Muhammad. Intercession is only for believers who believe in Muhammad, not infidels who reject faith in Muhammad. Okay, you have found the hadith, none will enter paradise except a Muslim soul. That is the answer to the question, can I intercede for my kafir family members in the paradise if I, a revert, die a shaheed?
No more questions? Okay, I'd like to thank Authentic 6 for the notes, and as I said, please put the notes in the blog because we don't have any proper notes on the blog about death. I'd like to thank Authentic 15 for posting the Hujjah. I'd like to thank Authentic 3 for helping with the Hujjah. I'd like to thank Authentic 12 for asking donations to the walls of our Dawah effort. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك. I'll now yield the mic.